Guys, it is Monday evening here in Seoul where I am, and I am just getting through, uh, I guess my third week of summer in Seoul, something like that. Uh, I have to say, my daily schedule being as crazy as it is, I am pretty tired, and like I'm wearing glasses today, these very old glasses that don't even really fit me. Um, because my eyes are hurting from just like having contact lenses on all day and being busy all day and being tired all day. So that's just my current state, my condition, the state of the union. Uh, and and it's tough, but hey, I'm making it. So right now in front of me, I have the PSAT for 2016 October 19th. Let me flip to the right page and get you going. Okay, so let's. I'm noticing this PDF, which I found publicly. This PDF is a little messy. It's not the cleanest, so I'll just have to work with this, with like the weird stray marks that are here. But I don't think it'd be too distracting because I can kind of ignore it. Although interestingly, huh? Oh, I see. No, yeah, I'll just work with this. I'll just work with this sort of ugly copy, and there's some like little bits of stray marks. Whatever, man. Just work with it, and let's get through it. So I've never seen these passages before ever in my life, so I'll be going through them and solving them and working through my reasoning for how to get through them. All right. Without further ado, strategy recap. Strategy recap is just a quick explanation of how I'm going to process uh, these passages and these questions and answer choices. So the way that I do it is I read the passage first, and I take my time on it. If you actually compare your time and my time, you might notice I'm actually slower than you. People talk about speed reading and whatnot in like the Discord server and in YouTube comments, but I'm going to tell you that's not what I do. I don't think it's wise, at least not if you want to get an 800. So I solve it by taking my time reading the passages and then going to the questions one by one. And I try to avoid doing process elimination right away. I try to focus more on just reading the question stem and understanding what I'm supposed to be looking for, and then guessing it, like predicting the answer. And if I can predict the answer, then I'm good. If I can't, then I have to go into ABCD process elimination, which is like an annoying process that I don't want to get into. But, sometimes I just have to do it. And, you know, usually that's when I don't remember the passage very well. It's when I don't know what I'm looking for, right? Ideally, I want that to happen less than 1 out of 10 times. So I should be using process elimination like one time per passage, ideally, or less. So yeah, that's basically my approach. The biggest difference is that I will be kind of slower on the reading, and I will be pretty fast on the answer choices because I'm not going to worry too much about process elimination. This is pretty much the same as how I do it on the real test. The only difference is that on the real test, I'm a little bit more cautious, so I do use process elimination a little extra compared to how I do it on the streams. The reason I do it so aggressively on the streams is to show you that it still works, even though you kind of deprioritize process elimination. So that's my strategy. That's the way I solve the test. If you're watching the stream at a later point, I'll try to put down timestamps so you can follow along. The way you can navigate is by using Option left and right arrows, and Option if you're on a Mac computer, or Alt, I think, if you're on a Windows keyboard. YouTube has a shortcut where you can jump between the chapters. I also strongly recommend watching this video at like 1.5 or 1.75 or even 2.0 speed, because you're just gonna be watching me solve these problems slowly. All right, that's it. Let's get into the passages. Now, I'm realizing I forgot to bring my phone, which is my stopwatch. So give me a second. I'll get my phone. Okay, so okay, just started guided access, which keeps the screen from turning off. And now I'm getting into the stopwatch. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. I said getting into the stopwatch, I meant getting into a test. Isabel Allende, portrait sepia. It's in Chile during the late 19th century, or late 1800s, early 1900s. Consensus in the family, a bad end. What's the bad end? But then I was going to come to a bad end, but then the first woman doctor I graduated in Chile. That gave Nivea the idea, this must be a family, that I could do the same. Least aptitude for studying, didn't have it. Camera, a Kodak. Oh, so we're gonna transition to a photographer's. We're revering this camera. Severo del Valle. That must be I'm going to call him Severo. So we have Nivea. One objective for months. The dark shadows in your nightmare, sir. That's like a joke, but actually that's her obsession. To a place called Plaza de Armas, to the studio of Don Juan de Ribero, the best in Santiago. He's dry but generous and sentimental inside. Lots of characters there. Ooh, an apprentice. A daughter as an apprentice. A check. Wow. Dropping the money. Was a half head shorter than my grandmother and half her weight, settled his eyeglasses on his nose with infinite scorn. The amount isn't a problem. You set the price. It isn't a question of price, but of talent, senora. Very intense negotiation guiding Paulina del Valle toward the door. So this must be the grandma. Wait, that means Severo del Valle is also from the family. Okay, interesting. We're talking about Ribero's work. Portraits. Was a favorite of the upper class, the photography, but the people were not the upper class. They were Indians, miners, fishermen, laundresses, poor children. Right. The multifaceted and tormented face of Chile. Something deep inside me. The story. A pressure. photographer. So the grandma is still in the sort of transactional mode, second rate, lowborn think, talking that arrogant tone. Paulina del Valle. So this is a class problem here going on. But I wasn't listening. I had decided that no one but Juan Ribero. This is a very almost impulsively certain girl. So this is actually a big transition over here. Left the house and went to wow, what a crazy. Found me at, or I was shy and very proud. Shy and very proud. I wasn't used to asking because I was coddled like a queen. She was born into wealth, but my determination was very strong. I didn't move. Hours later, he came and he was finally defeated. I won't give you any special consideration. Obey without talking back to learn quickly. She's so overwhelmed. She won, but she's so overwhelmed. 5:15, stop. Here is my map of the passage. This is everything that I remember from the 3 columns. I'm gonna look down over here so you can tell I'm not looking at my screen. Here's everything that I remember from the top to the bottom, left to right. Okay, so we have Isabel Allende's story, everything in sepia, something like that. Sorry, that's not really important. I just remember it. Okay, it's the blurb. And what we have is this narrator character. The narrator is supposed to come to a bad end. That's what the family thinks because she has something wrong with her. Amaze Quest, what's up? Long time no see. And but then at that time in Chile, the first woman doctor ever makes the news or something like that. And so the family is like, oh, okay, maybe our narrator, our little sister, presumably, can become a doctor. But everyone knew she's not very good at studying. The narrator hates studying. However, Severo del Valle, which must be a family member, one day brings a camera to the narrator. And the narrator's like, falls in love immediately, completely fixates on it. It's like a toy that no one her age would ever have at that time. But it awakens the inner artist in her. And what happens is Severo makes this joke, and maybe you can take pictures of the shadows in your nightmare, and Severo has no idea, but that's literally what she's going to do for like a whole month. It's like her one objective. She's obsessive about these things, completely decisive, completely it's like you get the sense of her personality, very decisive, very almost impulsive. She just like love at first sight. That's all her, right? Just immediately she makes that decision. Well, that's still the middle of the left column, but as we move towards the bottom of the left column, I think that's when we have the grandma taking her, the narrator, Paulina del Valle, the grandma, taking her to some guy named Ribero. And Ribero is actually kind of, we're at the top right column now. He's kind of a big shot, the best photographer in Chile, something like that, right? Maybe that's the bottom left, whatever. But at the top right, the grandma says, I want you to take my daughter. This is actually still the bottom right. I want you to take my daughter as your apprentice. And then she leaves a big chunk of change, like a check, on Ribera's desk. Ribera looks at it and he demurs. He's like, what? And she's like, wait, you tell me the price and I'll meet it. And then he's like, it's not the price, it's the talent. And the old grandma's kind of upset. So they have like this little exchange at the top right column. But in the meanwhile, now we're getting towards the middle of the right column. The narrator is observing the room of Ribeiro and sees all of the photographs that are hung up on the walls. And Ribeiro is actually reputed to be a favorite of all the upper class, right? The landed, the well-off people. But actually, the pictures, the portraits that she sees are not of the conservative bigwigs or like the fancy people. It's of like the common folk, the miners, the laborers, the poor, the woman. And she sees all these pictures and she feels this sort of strong, like insurpassable hunger to know more about these people. And she resolves that she must. And then the at the bottom right of that page, at the bottom of that column, they finally do get kicked out. They leave the place, and the grandma tries to console the narrator, being like, "Oh, it's okay. We will find another photographer. There's so many photographers. There are a dime a dozen. I cannot believe the insolent fool, how he could dare speak to Paulina Del Valle like this." Okay, Ribeiro, what does he think that he is? Right. This is now the top of the left. The top of the left on the next page is the third column. But the narrator's not listening to her whatsoever. The narrator's like, "Oh my God, well, I'm going to go right in." I mean, I am 100% sure he must be my teacher. So the next day when she wakes up, she goes right over to his shop and just waits and waits and waits. He comes at 11, tells her to shoo. She doesn't leave. She has this immense resolve that she must stay. She was shy, but she has a strong will or something like that. And she stays. He goes for lunch. He comes back, still sees her, and then he's finally defeated. "Oh, all right. You may learn with me if you promise to obey without question, and if you and to learn quickly." And she is choking from probably excitement and disbelief and fear and I don't know, whatever other feelings that might be. She's choking, and so she just nods, and that's the end of that story. That's my map of the passage. Oh my God, that took too long. But I basically remembered the entire story. So I would give myself a grade of A+ for that map of the passage. I even quoted many parts of the story, so I do think that's a really solid map of the passage. Okay, I'm at 5 minutes and 15 seconds. 5 minutes and 15 seconds. I'm going to go into the questions now. 3, 2, 1, let's go. How did Paulina expect to persuade with money? Okay, 5:25. 10 seconds for that one question. Oh, also it was a no-look. That was a no-look answer. A distinction between his activity, his outside and his inside. Yeah. His professional activities and preferred projects. Yeah. An important distinction. Yeah. I had to go and make sure I eliminated everything, but it's still a no-look answer. I didn't look at the passage. Entitled to spiritual treatment, this is over here. 60. Okay, 59 and 60. 59 and 60. Okay. Emphasizes the contrast between her being screwed and her earnest and playful. Yeah. So that's 6:35. That wasn't exactly what I predicted. 28:37. Primary serve 2. Dawn door. 28:37. Primary serve to move the setting along, I guess, to show the initial rejection. Okay. His personality, maybe, I don't know about personality. A setback for Ribeiro? No. Not her response, though. Oh, dude, that's not a good question, yo. Is that primarily, is that what primarily serves to do? I don't know about personality, but you have to eliminate all the other ones. Because her response is not here. Personality is not the best answer. Okay, 750. 33 set. You choose the price. You tell me the price, determine the price, 805. 38 exchange. During that conversation, okay, there we go. 815. Changes his mind. Not why he. Well, he can't recognize the talent. Much to lose. No, not as unkind as he appears. Maybe, because there's evidence for that. Desperate to continue working. Okay, there's some evidence for this because it comes out over here at the bottom. Generous and sentimental inside. 22 to 23. So that's 9 minutes. All right, stop. Let's just do a quick assessment. How many no-look answers did I do? 1, 2, 3. 3 no-look answers. And I answered all the questions in less than 4 minutes. That's pretty fast. All right. So that's a pretty solid start. Let's continue. I'm at 9 minutes. We're going to continue with the second passage. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Edwin Drake struck oil at 69. So he was expecting much further in 1859, by the way. 69 feet. The first deep water oil well stood in 100 feet. Today, they reach through 10,000 feet. Wow. The definition of deep water has gone further, deeper and deeper and deeper, but the price has been steady the whole time. 10-mile oil costs less than 69 feet oil. That's because of production. That's because of technology, I assume. This is a sort of side comment. It's addressed. We're addressing potential counter arguments or counterpoints. The amount has risen. Okay, it's more remarkable. 100 billion barrels. All intuition. How can the costs stay the same? How can the prices stay the same? It's easy enough to thank human ingenuity, but there's a second part of this. It's the energy itself begets. Oh, okay. It's not the technology. It's the energy itself begets more energy. That's kind of interesting. Electrically powered robots pursue new supplies of oil. I see. Technology enables further search. Silicon that becomes the cell that generates more electricity. More electricity that powers more lasers. Huh, I'm kind of confused by these examples, but that's interesting, yeah. 1130. Energy supply is determined not by what's out there, but how good we are at finding and extracting it. Okay. Supply is how good we are. That's an interesting definition. What is scarce? It's not raw energy that's scarce, okay? But the drive and the logic that is able to locate, purify, and channel it. Interesting. The scarcity is our ability to do it. The creation of still more logic paramount among them. Now, this word logic is pretty interesting and very technically. For the first 2 centuries of industrial history, okay, blue whale as in very. A modern American uses about as much energy. Oh, I see. Hence, end users consume increasingly compact intense forms of high-grade power, relying on suppliers to pursue and capture increasingly distant dispersed. That sounds dangerous, honestly. Man, this is hard to over. This is really hard to organize in my head. Like, what's the focus here? Capture none at all. The capture and consumption has been rising ever since. So this is framing it historically in like the history of the Earth. Plants still capture today's solar 6 times faster than we humans are able to dig up yesterday's solar energy. Maybe we can capture our energy directly from the sun. But whether we catch our solar energy live, dig it up, or mine, is just a detail. We will extract more energy from our environment, not less. Everything we think we know. Okay, so this is kind of the focus. All of our preconceptions is the opposite of the truth. Huh. It's an interesting and crazy argument and made me very uncomfortable because I was not used to that kind of argument. Okay. Oil price was high and distance to oils. Yeah, but see, this is irrelevant, right? It's basically irrelevant to oil, and it supports the fact that it's just maybe political related, not really technology related. All right, stop. I honestly do not know if I can make a good map of the passage, but I'm gonna try. Let me zoom in some other part of the passage. Okay, so all right, so here's my map of the passage. Here's my map of the passage. So we start with in the early 1900s, some guy starts digging oil at 69 feet. Then the deep oil drilling or whatever it's called kind of commences in like the 1900s with 100 feet, then eventually 1,000, 10,000, 30,000 feet. Something like through water, through earth, I don't know. It's all these complications. Basically, exponentially deeper. Next paragraph, yet the price of oil has remained shockingly steady. And the cost of extraction has also been more or less steady. Maybe it was even cheaper than it was back then, something like that. There is a bit of an admission. There's some counter evidence to consider, which is that, yeah, there were times when the price went up and down. But then here's the rebuttal. But those are all related to like political factors, geopolitical factors, not technology related factors, or not, related to the actual digging up of this oil, drilling up of this oil. So that's kind of that whole middle area. Then he says, drilling up the oil, and then people's consumption keeps growing. So, okay, I kind of don't remember the bottom of that paragraph, but here's the next paragraph. Excuse me. Before we go to the next paragraph, though, the whole thing about the cost of oil that I just summarized, that's all in the first figure. It's in the graph at the end of the passage. Okay. Next paragraph says, well, the ingenuity of humankind is, easy. It's easy to attribute all of this success of having stable prices and stuff to the ingenuity of humankind. But actually, the real story is that energy use begets more energy use, and energy capture begets more energy capture, or something like that. Okay, it was kind of a complicated idea for me. It was sort of a new idea for me. It was hard for me. Energy capture begets more energy capture. And this is the part that gets a little dizzying for me, but at the bottom left, the argument is something like, every technology we use to capture more oil gets turned into more technology to capture more oil. Okay? And there's all these like lasers and I don't know, there's all these like technologies that are mentioned at the bottom left. I don't remember the specific details, but it's there. Okay? Then we kind of move to the top right of the page, and he argues that this has enabled or something like that. This is enabled by. I'm not sure which direction the enabling goes, but maybe this enables, or maybe this is enabled by, or maybe it's both, and maybe he's just being vague, and I just don't understand, or maybe I just don't understand it. But regardless, there's some sort of connection to consumption. Okay, the consumption being that, like, what do you call it? Blue whale consumptions market or something like that, where every consumer uses as much energy now as a blue whale does. Okay. And I guess there's this weird argument somewhere in there about how consumption begets consumption, and people just consume more and more energy because of the progress of civilization or something like that. I don't really understand that part, but something like that. Lots of consumption. And then we go into this crazy geological history where he says, yeah, and yes, we are consuming a lot of energy, but you know what? In the frame of the history of the Earth, we've always been this way, starting from back when we were just little bacteria and we were using basically no energy, capturing no energy and using no energy, to now plants using much energy and animals using much energy, stuff like that. Everything uses more energy than we captures more energy and uses more energy than it used to be before life existed on Earth. Okay, very weird and interesting argument, but sure. And we are just a part of that trend. We're just like the sort of end of that trend. And then he says something like, I don't remember what happens after that part, but then basically getting close to a conclusion, he says something like, there's one thing that's inevitable. We're going to keep capturing more and more energy. So all of our common sense about energy, the energy supply, it doesn't hold. Now, I just remembered there is a paragraph somewhere where he talks about how the energy supply, this is at the bottom left, the energy supply is not how much energy there is out there. The energy supply is how much we are able to capture it. Okay, our ingenuity, our ability to use the logic to capture it, which is like this crazy word that he uses that I didn't fully understand. Very hard. Okay. But anyway, so I just remembered that suddenly, so I'm going to put that back in there in my map. But at the very bottom, again, he says, everything we think about the energy supply, it's wrong. Okay. We will actually keep gaining more and more energy. And before that, I guess there were some examples about how we're taking energy from like this. We could be taking energy from the sun. We could be capturing energy from the mines. We could be capturing energy from oil. All of those, it doesn't matter where we get our energy. That's just a minor detail. The point is that we will always be capturing more energy than we were before. It's just an inevitable trend, inexorable trend. Wow, hard passage, but you know what? I actually want to grade myself like a high, like a B plus or B, because I think I captured all of the logical transitions, even though I kind of forgot a lot of details. And I think that's a really solid map of the passage, actually, even though I forgot a lot of details. So, and it was a hard one. I don't know if B plus is fair, but I would give myself a B for sure, because I got all the major transitions, and I was pretty detailed. Like I wasn't doing like one or two transitions. I was getting like every couple paragraphs. I was getting it one by one by one by one. So I would say that's a pretty good map of the passage. How did you guys do compared to me? Now we can go into the questions. Here we go. I'm at 15 minutes and 5 seconds. Let me pull out my pencil. Here we go. And 3, 2, 1, let's go. Chiefly depend on our desire to not conserve, our ability to discover and draw. Yes. It's 15, 25. Which choice provides the best answer? Our ability, that's over here, 35 to 37. 35 to 37. Okay. 15, 35. The relationship between extraction and use by humans is best characterized as extraction and consumption, as they kind of coexist, not competition. They self-propagating and self-propulsive. Wow, that's a hard. But yes, that's correct. 16 minutes, and I think that was a no-look answer. It was a no-look answer, and I didn't have to go through process elimination. Best evidence is where do we talk about consumption? This is where we have consumption. Okay, there we go. 50 to 52. Okay. Whoops, 50 to 52. That is 1635. In line 17, tied to most nearly means. 17 tied to most nearly means. But they have been caused by, affected by, connected to, 1650, that's 15 seconds. 28 to 33. Electricity and laser, okay. Basically, we're supporting this claim, not sketching a narrative, a paradox, or complete a comparison. Yeah. So we're supporting the claim that it begets itself. Okay, I don't even have to look back at the answer. I already know. A passage I already know. 46, pursue most nearly means. Pursue, I don't know. I don't remember pursue. Relying on suppliers to pursue and capture. Relying on suppliers. Okay. To chase and capture. To find and capture. To seek. Chase is incorrect because chasing sounds like they would be running away, but no. Seek and capture. Seek and capture. You're supposed to find it and capture it. Hang on, I forgot to write the 1745. It's kind of an awkward question, but yeah. That took me 25 seconds actually. The gap 48 refers to, I don't remember gap 48. The gap between what? Okay, let's double check. They consume more intense things and then sources of power and increasingly distant, dispersed, and dilute sources. How far away it is, okay? The distance of how far away the energy is. It's not as close as it used to be. Not from the surface. quality is also wrong. Concentration of supplies is basically correct. I mean, that's kind of what I was predicting, but that's a tough answer choice, man. That's a tough answer choice, but you know, I would go on because that is basically what I predicted. Okay. The maximum distance to oil first reached 2,000. The maximum distance during which span of years? 25,000. Maximum distance, 25,000. 1975? After 1975? Yep. 1925. Now we can move on to the next passage, but before we do, quick assessment of my situation. How many no-look answers did I do? Let's see. I read this passage in 6 minutes, so it took me a while. I did 1, 2, 3 no-look answers, 3 no-look choices out of 9, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. And I answered the questions in 5 minutes, so that's still pretty fast. Pretty good. Pretty good. My cats are passing out together on a chair right next to me. They're so cute. But no, I don't want to get distracted. Let's at least do the third passage first. Okay. So, you know, I'm pretty happy with time because I'm like I'm like 20 minutes for 2 passages, so we're solid, man. All right, here we go. Next passage. 3, 2, 1, let's go. In systems in which predators, okay, principles of animal behavior, that's very broad. It's basically a textbook. Oh my God. Predators hone in on sounds to be quiet. Sound suppression and the repertoire of the Gulf toadfish. Dolphins eat Gulf toadfish. It's a huge part. It's a large part of their diet. It's like rice for Koreans. Prior work has shown that dolphin orient toward the boat whistle sound by the. So this is prior work. Okay. Boat whistle sound. Their eavesdrops on the sound with the predator orient toward the prey, and once they locate by eavesdropping, locks onto his prey and tracks it. Ramage, and I actually forgot RH. Okay, is his last name RH? The question was, did the toadfish respond in kind? Did they have a different a counterattack? Okay, and then reducing the boat whistle sounds. Did they suppress it somehow? Do they listen for sounds and do they suppress their own sounds? Okay. Okay, keep going. Bottlenose dolphins, I'm at 2105 by the way at the time. Ranging from high frequency whistles. Dolphin. Clicks and pops. Pops are easiest to hear for them. So they focused on these. So that's some reasoning for why for their experiment design. The researchers captured toadfish during the breeding season. They kept them in tanks until breeding season ended, and they began to emit boat whistle sounds to attract females. 3 sounds. Oh, okay, this is actually an experiment. They exposed to 1 of 3 sounds. Pops, whistles, and just snapping shrimp, okay, as a control. Using underwater speakers. And the activity was recorded for 5 minutes. Before, during, and after. So for 15 minutes each time. Cool. Results, they found evidence of anti-predator response for pups. Before exposure, there was no difference. However, oh my god, yeah, like literally saying naturally. And then dolphin pops and dolphin whistle. Hang on. Interesting. During and after, they call back. Oh, they drop. I see. Whistles and pops. They drop. Reduced by 50% when they expose pop sounds. Maintained it for 5 minutes following. The other treatments show no changes. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of obvious though, right? Like, would of course they would. They followed up. Hormonal analysis. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Does it produce a stress response in toadfish? To pops, snapping shrimp sounds, drew blood, measured cortisol levels, higher levels of cortisol, which I guess is stress. Yeah. Okay, so I need to not focus on this, okay, but basically I'm focusing on this. So drop. Okay, 24, 25. Stop. Man, what the? It's kind of an obvious science passage, but sure. All right, I'm gonna go into my map of the passage. Hey, I'm kind of looking at my screen. It's like kind of. Hey, let me just test something. It's. Huh. Oh, is it working? What the heck? It's like barely working. What's wrong with my... I don't know, man. The chat is messed up, but anyway. Forget it. Let's go into the map of the passage. Here's what I remember from the passage, okay? Just trying to not show you the screen, so just show you that I'm not looking at the screen. Here's everything I remember from top to left, top to bottom, left to right. So when predators use sound to locate their prey, it's possible that as an anti-predator technique, animals could use a sound suppression method. And there's this guy RH and his team who wanted to research this in a certain toad. I forget the name of the toad. Well, this toad is actually 13% of a dolphin's diet. These dolphins love these toads. So the unique feature of these toads is that during mating season, they make this sort of boat whistle sound, okay, which I can't imagine what that sounds like, but a boat whistle sound. And dolphins, in response, may make their own sounds, like clicking with each other, a popping sound, maybe some other sound that I forget, like a chirping sound or something. I forget what it is. But they make these different sounds with each other to communicate with each other. And the RH guy and his pals were interested in whether the toads would notice that the dolphins were communicating and then basically shut up. Would they shut up? Now, this is the middle of the left column. Now, getting into the bottom of the left column, we start talking about some experiment design. What he did is he got a bunch of toads and kind of grew them somewhere, had them go through their mating season or something like that. I don't know what that exactly is, but something like that. They kind of held them somewhere and exposed them to 3 sounds. Stop. I kind of forgot a minor detail. One detail is that they specifically focus on the pop sound. Okay, they focus on the pop sound of the dolphin because that's the one that toads would be most likely to hear. Okay. So just had to make that comment. Now we're in the experiment design, and they divided up the toads into 3 groups for 3 different sounds. First would have like dolphin sounds. Second would have a different set of dolphin sounds, and third would have a snapping shrimp sound, which is a control. They shouldn't really be responding to that. Now, if you actually look at the graph, though, it's actually 4 different things with like 3 different dolphin sounds. I don't know, man. But just go anyway. There's multiple sounds, all right, and they divide them up. And at the top right, we talk about how what they found is before. And at the bottom, I forgot this other part. They recorded the behaviors, the activity of the toads in each group, 5 minutes before the sound, for 5 minutes during the playing of the sound, and for 5 minutes after the sound. Okay. Now, here are the results at the top right. They found that before the sounds were played, all of the toads in all groups displayed the same level of activity with their toad whistle, with their boat whistle sounds. They just kept making the same noise over and over. And then after that, they went to they started playing the 5 minute of dolphins pops and whatever, and they noticed that whoever heard the toads that heard the dolphin pops would reduce their boat whistle sound by 50%, but the other groups just kept at it the same. You can see this in the graph. Dan, I see you. What's up? And then after that, for 5 minutes, the toads still stayed suppressed. They still stayed like, hey, we're gonna shut up. We're gonna get hunted by these dolphins, right? They're just trying to hide away from these dolphins. I know we're all horny right now. We're all horny toads, but shut the hell up. So that lasted for at least 10 minutes. Who knows how long this horniness will be suppressed? The survival instinct, right? How long will it last? Well, the results basically indicate that, yeah, they do shut up, which is kind of depressingly obvious. It's like, whatever. But the interesting thing comes out at the very end of this passage, where it says there's a hormonal analysis that the RH people did. And when they did the hormonal analysis, basically they just drew blood samples of 2 pairs of toads. The first group of toads was the dolphin snapping sound, dolphin popping sounds, and the second group was the shrimp snapping sounds. And turns out the dolphin popping sounds toads, they had higher levels of cortisol, which means stress, in their blood. All right, and that was my map of the passage. I read it literally once in my life, and that's how much I remembered. If I could give myself a grade for my map of the passage, I would say that was pretty freaking detailed. And I got every transition, so that's definitely A minus, like A territory. It's definitely A territory. I do feel like I was a little clumsy through some of the details, and I'm like kind of fuzzy on some of them. So I'll just give myself an A minus for that map of the passage. Kind of curious if you guys are doing the map of the passage on your own as well, how well you guys did compared to me. Okay. Just to answer you, Dan, I should also stream to Twitch, maybe, but I've seen Twitch. I've seen the kinds of things that are on there, and it's basically video games and bikini, like hot tubs. I've seen some people do like nerdy things on Twitch, like the English teachers and stuff. I just don't think it's YouTube is much better for discoverability, and I just don't have the. I just, you know what? These streams are not what's gonna make me famous. So, you know what I mean? Like, I'll make better YouTube videos in the future, but for now, I just need to get through all the streams. Solving these tests, I just need to solve every test that's out there. That's basically the whole point of these streams. Just solve them and have them recorded somewhere in the world. So, anyway. I'm actually surprised at how successful these streams are, because these streams are extremely boring to watch. But hey, I'm thankful for everyone who subscribes. And if you haven't subscribed, by the way, and you do want to get more curated content in the future, please let me know. Yeah, the chat is cut off. It's very weird. I mean, I guess I could try to fix it, but I don't know what the heck is, like, I don't know what that is. Like, I don't know why it's doing that. Like, I've never had that problem before. Here, I'll break it and then something's broken, man. You know what? Maybe the CSS has been changed. That would be annoying, because then I would have to go and change my CSS. Do I ever edit? Oh no, it's fixed now. Okay, well, that was easy. No, I don't really edit yet, but I will edit in the future. All right. No, well, yeah, I wanted to know what was actually happening, but I just wasn't. I mean, there was actually no one watching. So I was like, well, who cares? But now you're watching, so I care. All right, so that was the Gulf toadfish. I need to go and answer these questions now. Here we go. I read that in 5 minutes and 20 seconds. No, exactly 5 minutes and 5 seconds. So let's see how fast I can get through these questions and how many no-look answers I can have. Here we go. Starting time, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Toadfish are 13%. Most like to emphasize how much of the diet it comes from. Not irrelevant. No. Problem, no. Reasoning behind the choice. The choice of the toad. Yeah, you know what? That's almost certainly right, but that's kind of interesting, because there's no direct evidence for that. Huh. Okay, that's not... It's interesting, because that doesn't have direct evidence. You kind of have to infer that. So that's like a That's like a Okay, that was not a no-look answer. Let's keep going. 15. Locks onto this prey and tracks it and follows it. Okay, that's 25. 15, that's 10 seconds. Chose dolphin pops to broadcast primarily because toads can hear it. Toads can hear it. Or other sounds are more difficult to hear. That's correct. 25-30, that's a no-look answer. And I didn't even do process elimination. I'm just going to move on. This is at the bottom left. No, it's in the middle left. It's in the middle left, so it's around here. Here we go. That's 26 through 29, so I'm going to just choose that right away. 26 through 20. There we go. 25 and 45. I actually answered both those questions in 30 seconds together. 30 seconds for those two questions. The main purpose of the fifth passage is probably findings. 45 to 58. Let me see. Yeah, these are the results. Okay. Results, that's summarized findings. Results. That's 2610. And then produce, 62. Produce most nearly means hang on, where are we? Produce, create a stress response. Induce, create, cause. Okay, 2625. And then over here, exposure to dolphin pops cause male to be stressed and also to shut up. Reduce their foraging, no. Frequency, no. Yeah, stress. 2640. And this comes at the bottom right. So that's maybe 59 or 66. 66. Yep, 66 is correct. 27. How many no-look answers am I getting right now? I got a no-look answer over here. Okay, and we're keeping going. Which of the following had the greatest effect on the call rates? The greatest effect on the call rates. Greatest effect on the call rates. Okay. Dolphin whistles. I mean, it's almost so similar, but dolphin pops alone, technically? Dolphin pops alone? I guess? What? That's such a weird question. Dolphin whistle sounds alone? Yeah. Oh my god, that's such a... Honestly, that's not the kind of thing that the SAT should make you like freak out about. Honestly, I feel like that's kind of a stupid question. Anyway, but anyways, the pop sound that they notice. The 4 bars showing the lowest call rates primarily support the conclusion that they inhibit their sounds for yes. 28, 35. That's a no look answer. Okay, and I don't need to double check my other. I don't need to do process elimination for those. They're pretty straightforward. All right, let's go to the next passage. Here we go. The passage is adapted from The Fight for Conservation. Conservation? Forest conservationist and a politician. Pinchot. Pinchot. No man may take pride. The destruction of our accomplishments by the destruction of the natural resources so far as it has gone. Paradoxical, okay, but true. This attack on nature, we've gone a kind of prosperity and a civilization, a kind of man that are new in the world. We've destroyed the American forest very, very, very rapidly. American acts. So the American businessman has grasped his opportunity, used and developed, invented them, success, and thus a new businessman. It's a little ironic, right? Being so good at such destruction. Never been equaled. Vast destruction of our natural resources, degree of vigor and power and efficiency, of which we should be proud. Wow, that's such an awkward irony. Interesting. 30 minutes and 10 seconds so far. Now that is done. We have accomplished these big things. So what is the next step? Shall we go on the same lines shall we go on in the same lines to a certain destruction of the prosperity we have created, or shall we take the obvious lesson, turn our backs on the uncivilized point of view, and adopt toward our natural resources the average prudence? Adopt prudence, foresight, and care. That should be the rule of our daily life. The movement is calling attention of the American people to the fact that they are trustees of this nature. We are trusted. We are entrusted with nature. It's so obvious, plain, as to require only a statement of it to carry conviction. Of course we are entrusted. We have this obligation to take care of nature. And if we fail to do this, can we have a good reputation in our descendants' minds? Business prudence, business common sense indicate as strong as they indicate. Not good business. The way we've been handling the natural resources, it's not good business to kill the goose, to burn up our forest, waste our coal, to remove. It's not good business. That's an interesting argument. So we're making a business argument for conservation. coming after us, okay, those who are coming after us, we have to leave to them. Huh. Interesting. It's an interesting argument. It's not merely a question of business, but also it's also a question of a higher duty. Patriotism, love of country, gratitude. These are also things that are important. Then we have a duty. Those who are coming after us shall have the same opportunity for happiness that we had ourselves. Apart from the question, interesting. He makes both arguments, the business argument, the economic argument, and the sort of moral argument. 33 minutes. Let's stop. So I read that in little less than 5 minutes. A little less than 5 minutes. Here is my map of the passage. Oh, just a little tired, but let's keep it going. My map of the passage goes like this. Sorry, my cats are just so stupidly cute. Here are my cats. They're just hanging out. They were both sleeping here. 안녕. 안녕. Okay. All right. Let me fix this. Got a little distracted. Okay, here's my map of the passage. Starting at the top. We have Pincho. It's an awkward name. I want to just learn this guy's name, so I kind of want to know. I'm going to look it up. Pincho. Gifford Pinchot. Pinchot. How do you pronounce it? He's considered the father of American conservatism, by the way, if you are curious. And where's the pronunciation of his name? Gifford Pinchot. All right, there we go. I was basically correct. All right, I got his name, Pinchot. So let's get into the map of the passage. Sorry, I just got a little distracted with that. Cats, Pinchot, you know. I got to keep myself energetic, work with the little easy things in my life before I do the hard things, like the map of the passage. I'm just a little tired after four passages now. All right, top left. So, oh, sorry, I'm not going to look at my iPad. Let's just zoom out. Top left. So basically, at the beginning, we talk about, Actually, what do we talk about at the beginning? Holy crap, I do not remember the opener. He says something like, we are good. We have been doing good. Oh, this crazy paradox. Okay, there we go. We ought to be proud of the vast destruction of nature, the accomplishments of civilization that we have accomplished through the vast destruction of nature. And basically, this whole first paragraph until the middle of that middle of that left column is just him saying, yeah, we ought to be proud of it. We have destroyed the forest with such efficiency and rapidity. It's amazing. It has never been equaled ever. And through it, we've reaped the benefits, and we're amazing. We should be. Yes, it is a paradox, but it's true. We should accept it. It's such an uncomfortable argument, honestly. You know, it makes you feel uncomfortable with these words like destruction. The American axe. He talks about the American axe for a while, about how amazing the American axe it is, and how it can just butcher these forests. Okay. Then In the next paragraph, he goes, okay, we've done that. So now what? What's the next step? And he argues that the next step is, should we not be more prudent? Should we not be more prudent? Because we are trustees of this nature, which is so obvious, that we have an obligation to this nature. That should we not be more prudent like our forefathers? Not, he didn't use that word forefathers, and leave future generations an equal opportunity at happiness. Okay, that part might have come out in the right column. I'm kind of blending it all together. It's kind of unclear for me, but yeah. And then at the bottom left to the top right, American business, even business logic dictates that we should be taking care of nature, because it is not good business to strip our forests and our mines and and our resources. It is not good business to do any of this. This is all the top right. I don't remember the details there. Then the next paragraph in the middle of the right side says, but apart from business, there's another concern, which is the sort of, he doesn't say moral, but basically moral. Are we going to leave this, are we going to leave this nature, basically, right, to our future generations where they have an equal opportunity at happiness? Or are we just going to strip it all away? We have responsibilities, we have duties, we have, and so he uses some morally charged words like these, okay? Stewardship, okay, words like these. And that's kind of the last argument that he makes. All right, that was my map of the passage. I would have to say that definitely was worse than my first three maps of the passage. They were definitely worse than, and I would, if I had to give myself a grade for that map of the passage, it'd be something like a, is it a B minus or a C plus? It's all fuzzy, you know? It's all sort of fuzzy. I mean, I got all the logic though. I got all the transitions, I think. But I'm just like not super confident. So I'm going to say C plus. That's a C plus map of the passage for me. How well did you do compared to me on your map of the passage? All right, let's go and solve these questions. Here we go. I'm at 33 minutes. 3, 2, 1, let's go. The central claim is that we should be more responsible with nature. They're not learning. It's not a learning. Matters more than the continue. Conservation is necessary to ensure a prosperous future. Yes. Kind of awkward. Had to do it. No. Huh. Kind of awkward set of questions, but yeah. 33-25. That was a no-look answer, though. And I don't think I need to look. The main focus shifts from over the course of the passage, main focus shifts from I'm business. Okay, how well we've done to now what we're going to do. Okay. So not, I was looking at C first. Appealing to sensitivity to examine the dangers. No. Announcement of the benefits America's enjoyed to a call. Of the benefits to a call to use those resources more wisely. That's correct. Not condemnation of the destruction. That's one of the interesting things about this. 34-15. He characterizes environmental conservation primarily as a, I actually did a no-look answer for this one as well. As a environmental conservation as a necessary, responsible form of significant practice. He does primarily as a belated attempt to. What? Okay, let's talk about. Let's see where he talks about conservation. Is not merely a question of business. Vastly higher duty. So we're primarily. If this country has been good to us, given us our parts, then there is a duty resting upon us to see that those who are coming after us shall have the same opportunity for happiness as us. Okay. I don't know about engagement, but belated attempt. Controversial to sensitive. Maybe belated, maybe increased, maybe. Yeah, he doesn't primarily focus on it as economic productivity. So belated. Where do we get belated? That must be here. I guess long ago, kind of gets that. 34, 33. All right, I'm going to go with belated. 34, 32, 34. 27, 42. What is the next step? All the way to 42. And if we do fail to recognize, can we recognize a... Okay. Like, kind of serve to suggest his argument, not the complexity. The necessity, the necessity of the approach that he advocates, not his uncertainty. Okay, that's 36, 20. Average, 32, 33. I remember this, but I forgot it. Okay, average foresight, average. So the sort of normal thing that we adopted, that we long ago we considered normal, that was typical. So it's not crazy. It's not crazy. Reforms, controversial, would rapidly become standard. Okay, yeah, it's kind of a strange. I don't love the word choices for these, but yes, that's correct. 34, a financial justification is that businesses will avoid regulations, have continued availability of natural resources. That's correct. And I want to double check this. Oh, but we already have this question anyway. So 47 to 48 to 54. 51 through 49 through 53. 49 to 53. 48 to 53. Right? Burn up everything. It's not good business in terms of dollars and cents to burn up everything. Okay? 38 minutes. 58 duty means we have a responsibility, a duty. Yeah, responsibility. Exact. That was 10 seconds. He would agree with which of the following statements? That the policies oh my god. Public opinion. Off topic. Future have a right to enjoy same advantages. Yes, he would definitely agree with that. 38. 30. No look answer. Best evidence. I mean, there's so much evidence for that one, but let's start with the back. 57 through 57, 58, and 67. 58, 67. Okay, 67 is correct so far. All right, so that's 39 minutes. And that's the end. Stop. So I spent 5-ish minutes, less than 5 minutes reading, and about 6 minutes solving. Okay, so not so bad. Not so bad. I am actually, I have a lot of free time now. I have actually 21 minutes to finish this test. A lot of free time. Now, obviously, it is a PSAT, so the questions are not as hard, even though the passages are equally hard. My cat Ogu is now sitting at a totally different spot, right next to my feet. All right. Well, let's finish off. Let's finish off this test. Very close to the end now. 39 minutes. I'm gonna continue. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Passage 1. is from Hubble. The Realm of the Nebula. 19 Oh, it was originally published in 1936. Wow. Beyond the Soapsuds universe. We're probably 19 So this is probably a different view. Galaxies as stellar systems, as the stellar system. Okay. Well, thank you for that comment. That's going to be pretty hard. A stellar system. So it's very old science. The stellar system of Milky Way. Okay. The sun is a star among many millions which form the stellar system. Swarm of stars. Now, by the way, soapsuds is maybe the thing we're going to debunk in the second passage. It drifts like a swarm of bees. The universe is empty. There are other stellar systems. So remote, we do not see the individual stars. They're like patches of light. They're like nebula or clouds. But now, thanks to the telescopes, we know something of their nature, something of their real size. And we even know we know their size, their brightness, and the distances. The frontiers. This is like well written, actually. The last horizon defines the observable region of space. A vast sphere, perhaps 1,000 million light years in diameter. 100 million nebulae. The large-scale distribution of nebulae is uniform. Okay, yeah. This is honestly sort of a random side comment. Okay. Huh. So this is just sort of a zoom through the telescope. Really. Margaret Geller first met the stickman in the fall of 1986. What is a stickman? A euphoric reaction. The stickman. Okay, hang on. We're getting names. MG, VDL, Hukra. Geller was the first one who really noticed something real important. Geller. To carefully measure the distance, we talked about distance, by the way, to 1,000 galaxies, some as near as 30 million and 650 million. Okay, we're talking about 1,000 million light years over here. So that's all so far so good. Into a computer program to... Oh, a distribution. We're talking about distribution again. A slice of the universe is sprinkled with 1,000 galaxies. The slice with 1,000 galaxies right in the middle. It's a stickman figure. A child's drawing. 500 million light years across the universe. Hundreds of galaxies. A massive the Coma cluster. 2 more sheets of galaxies. Hang on, what? Beyond the soapsuds. This thing was not just grand in destiny. Huh. Change our understanding. Smooth and homogeneous. Okay, there we go. Distributed at random. Okay. Occasionally form. Okay, this is exactly what he was talking about over here at the bottom. Okay. There's even some evidence that you contain at least one enormous void. One enormous void, right? Or clusters. Although we assume that these are structured products of the methods used to survey it, of our telescopes. We assumed that the universe was not exactly the way we were seeing it. We were seeing it as sort of like clumpy, clustered, and this one massive void, and with like these filaments that are crossing it, but we were assuming that's just because of our instruments, not because of how the universe actually is. But here, we're actually saying probably the universe really is that way. Okay, so here's my map of the passage. Starting from the top, here we go. Starting from the top, map the passage, here we go. Top left. The guy from the 1930s, he says, the universe is made up of these stellar systems. Okay, our stellar system has a sun in it, but there's many other stars and makes up the stellar system. And if you zoom out, and when we look out into the sky, we see some other stellar systems. There are other stellar systems out there. Thanks to the telescope, we can see them, and we've been able to see and ascertain some of the nature of these stellar systems. You know, their distance, their size, their brightness. Their age. I forget, but some qualities about these stellar systems. Okay, now when we say stellar systems, we mean galaxies. We also mean nebulae. They're all the same thing. Now, so using this telescope, it's possible it's like 1,000 million light. This universe is like 1,000 million light years in diameter. No, wait, that comes out later. I'm sort of jumbling the ordering of it because I kind of don't remember. It's like an unusual way of structuring a passage, so I'm not used to that structure. But basically, it says, and so if you look at this, we looked at like the nearer stars, and we looked at the farther away stars, and and it looks like if you keep looking farther and farther away, you can arrive at the horizon of our known universe. Okay, through everything we can see through this telescope, we're at the edge. And when you look at the edge, what you notice is that there are certain areas where the nebulae were sort of kind of clumped together, but if you average everything out, it's pretty much a smooth distribution. The stars are just randomly distributed throughout the universe. The galaxies are, so when I say stars, I actually mean galaxies. The galaxies are randomly distributed throughout the universe. It's more or less continuous and homogeneous. Okay, so that is my map of the first passage. Not the best, but good enough to get it going. Second passage, here we go. Second passage, top right, says MG, Margaret Geller, maybe? MG saw the stick man. It was it was like an inspiration or something like that. An epiphany, a eureka moment. I forget what the word was, okay? Weirdly, two of her colleagues had also seen the stick man figure before, but it wasn't until Margaret Geller that really finally understood the true significance of it. Okay, that's just some background to this research. That's the first paragraph. Now we're in the middle of that column, and it says, the stickman figure suggests that basically there's a bunch of we just define it, right? There's like all these galaxies that are like making the body of the stickman, and it's kind of a silly name, but it's actually a supermassive, very important thing. And then the two arms are made out with like, it's like two sheets of galaxies, stuff like that. We just define what the stickman is. And then after that definition, we go on to say something like, so this upsets our definition, our previous assumptions about the universe, that they were all, that the universe is just randomly distributed nebulae or galaxies. They're all just randomly distributed and homogeneous. Actually, it seems like it's not, because we've seen this coma cluster before, this coma cluster, and now there's this other massive void in the B galaxy or something like that. There's or B something, and it doesn't really have a conclusion, but basically says, it doesn't feel like it's homogeneous anymore. And we all assumed that whatever randomness we saw through our telescopes is because of the instrument's fault, not because of the actual nature of the galaxy, which suggests that the galaxy itself is actually supposed to be this way, according to this author. All right, that's my map of the passage 2, and so those are my 2 maps of the passage for these 2 passages. If I could give myself a grade for that, I would give myself I'm pretty confident in all the content that was there. I forgot a lot of details. It's a little iffy. It's a B- to C+, but I'm going to give myself B- for that one. Okay, B- for that map of the passage. I feel like I got all the major linkages that I really needed. All right, I'm going to go into the questions now. Here we go. Questions. Question 39, starting now. 3, 2, by the way, I'm at 44 minutes and, oh, did I not write dude, there is a conclusion. I just didn't see it. So I'm just going to continue. 44 minutes and 50 seconds. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Then Geller saw the stick man, which convinced that the galaxies were congregating on 2-dimensional structures, as though they had condensed out of nothingness on the surfaces of invisible bubbles. Interesting. 2-dimensional. All right, 45:30. Let's keep going. Fill the stars because the sun is located. What? Within a system containing millions of stars. I guess, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, the swarm. 39 distribution is probably over here. The large scale distribution, the large scale spread. Oh, wow. I did not expect that. 4605. Okay. Geller, as someone who's very observant and sharp, questioned, long believed, lacked experience, new research, and yeah. We had that. That's a no-look answer. 4625. Because she had that eureka moment, that epiphany. Line 65, grand. Don't know that. For a grand figure. For a massive, hang on. Because what are we emphasizing? It extended 500 million light years. Massive, imposing. Okay. 4650. Prior to the discovery, most believed that galaxies were scattered haphazardly. Is a little weird, but sure, haphazardly throughout space. That's basically correct. No, not clusters. No, not vast regions of empty space. I mean, that's true and 2-dimensional. Okay, 47:15. Numerous vast regions of empty space. That makes it sound like clusters. D makes it sound like clusters. That's at the bottom right, so that's over here. Oh, 75 to 76. Okay, so that's 47:40. Relationship between the 2 passages. Passage 1 supports a view, and passage 2 upsets it. Yeah. 48. They discovered that it's not true. in passage 2. The view of nebula arrangement. That's the distribution, right? So let's just double check. No, over here. 73 to 75 mainly, but yeah, 73 to 75 right here. 48 25. Before 1985, the universe was thought to, hang on, let me just double check. 1985 is over here. Okay, 1985 is over here. Yeah, so was thought to be sort of 3D and kind of, like just distributed. Lack structure. Yeah, that sounds right. Short distance. Lack structure. How do we get structure? Because we have these structures. Okay, because they were just randomly distributed without a structure. Okay, so that's correct. 49:15. All right, now on the real test I would be less lazy and I would go back and double check on my answers, but it's a stream and I'm tired. It's like 9 p.m. I'm just gonna go and check my answers. Okay, when you are studying, you should definitely not do what I'm about to do. You should go and slowly. You should think about every single question slowly before checking your answers. All right, question number 1. Oh, I need to pull up my answers first. Give me a second. Give me a second. (2016). All right, and here we go. I'm at October 19th. October 19th. I chose, let me zoom in real quick on this. All right. I chose A, D, B. A, D, B are correct. I chose B, B, C, C. B, B, C, C are correct. Then I chose B, A. B, A are correct. That's 9 for 9. 9, 9, 9. Okay. Then I chose from 10 B, B, B. B, B, B are correct. Then I chose C, B, A, A. C, B, A, A are correct. Then I chose D, D. D, D are correct. That's 9 for 9. Cool. 19 through 22. I chose D, B, A, A. D, B, A, A are correct. Then I chose A, C, D, D. A, C, D, D are correct. Then I chose C, B. C, B are correct. 1, 2, 3. Hang on, how many questions is that? That is 10 questions. 10 for 10. Okay. C, B, C, C. So what number are we? 29? C, B, A, C. Shoot. Engagement? Okay, I mean, sure. I don't like belated. It's such a weird one. But engagement? Let's look for engagement. Patriotism, country, gratitude, civic engagement. I mean, it's not really a good... Honestly, I don't like the word engagement. I don't think it's a good word. You know? Because when we say civic engagement, it really does sound, to me at least, am I crazy? It sounds to me like activities that you perform out in society. And so it's weird. I'm trying to look for words that seem kind of like civic engagement, right? Patriotism, love of country, but that's not civic engagement. Gratitude, that's not civic engagement. We have a duty, okay? When I hear civic engagement, for me, it's a lot more concrete. So, like, I don't see a very obviously connected phrase to civic engagement. Dude, dude, they are definitely referring to this last paragraph. And you know what? I'm gonna go and look at their, because the College Board publishes these like explanations. Pretty sure this explanation is gonna be pretty nonsense. Um, Hang on, where's the explanations? Oh, did they have the explanation for this one? For this one? Maybe not for this one. Because this is PSAT. Let me just double check. Yeah, yeah, not for this one. Because this is an actual release PSAT. They don't do explanations for these. I don't know, man. Okay, if here, civic engagement is basically higher duty, patriotism, love of country, gratitude for things, calling upon us. We have a duty, line 67. I guess 67 to 70 is like the best. I really don't like that, honestly. It's just such a weird engagement, dude. If you say civic, look, I'll give you, I'll show you, I'll tell you what I'll show you. Okay, I'll show you what I mean. Okay, let's look at civic engagement. Okay, means working to make a difference in the civic life of our communities, according to New York Times. What are some civic voting, volunteering? Like, this is literally what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking, right? This is what I'm thinking. Like, it's such a strange way to use that phrase. A responsible form of civic engagement is to just feel a responsibility at a general level for our natural resources, and to not, like, the whole idea of civic engagement is to not strip our forests. That's like a bad answer choice, guys. So this is a pretty unusual source for this, but yeah. Soup kitchen, neighborhood association writing a letter. Like, literally, this is exactly the kind of thing to electoral participation, as in like voting, to like organizational involvement, like with a church or something, or like a soup kitchen, right? I don't know. Yo, I don't know. You can tell me I'm crazy. But like, I just think that that's the way we normally use the word. Now, that said, that doesn't mean C is a very good answer choice either. Belated attempt to address an ongoing crisis. The problem is that the belated is really hard to defend, and I was like, long ago is not the same as, like, it only is like the faintest hint of belated. It's just like, back in the day we used to work this way, and now we've destroyed nature, so maybe we should go back to that way. But yeah, we don't know belated because because the contradictory thing about the logic is he's actually saying that, hey, we have gained. This is a good thing. We did a good thing by destroying all these forests. We've done a good thing. Okay, we got what we wanted. Okay, now let's move on. So that doesn't mean belated, right? So I would still eliminate belated. But I just don't really like A as an answer. I don't think. But I think in retrospect, I guess A is a less bad answer than C. So you should still choose A. Okay? Anyway, 29 through 32. Let's do that again. I was looking at 29 to 32. We were at I'm losing track of where I was. I'm on the wrong page now, I think. I am on the wrong page. Okay, 29 to 32, here we go. CBAC, CBAC, cool. Then I chose ADCA, ADCA, cool. And then I chose BD, BD, cool. So how many questions was that? That was 10 questions. So I got 9 out of 10 on that one. Finally, we have 8 more questions. 39, I chose ACBDA, ACBDA, cool. And then I chose CCCB, CCCB, cool. So we have 9 out of 9, which gives me a total of 46 out of 47. All right, guys, that is my test. No further comments. That one question, I already shared my thoughts on it. Not the best answer, but it's still the least worst answer. So you should still, I mean, I guess I should still have gotten 47 out of 47 if I just took my time on it. I should have focused on it more. If I should have marked it and been like, that's a weird answer. You know, I should have marked it so that I could come back to it. I think these days, just because I'm streaming while having an extremely busy schedule, I've been a little lazier with like the double checking my answers by circling questions that I feel a little iffy on, so that I can come back and double check. I'll try to do more of that starting in future streams. In future streams, you know, I'm just getting a little tired, is all. All right, guys, I'll see you guys, I think, in another week or so. In a week, I have another SAT test scheduled. I think it's actually finally the April 2022. So I'll see you guys in that stream. Peace.